All should work together to ensure food safety, says Speaker Dr. Shirin Sharmin Chaudhary at Asia Pacific Right to Food and Agri-Food System Conference. BNP to take responsibility if peaceful environment and public security hampered, says Obaidul Qadir. Information and Broadcasting Minister Dr. Hassan Mahmood visits Bangladesh Bhavan at Visva Bharati University in Shantiniketan of West Bengal in India. At least 40 people died in Algeria by severe heatwave. Thousands evacuated from different parts of Europe. And Pakistan take 397-run lead over Sri Lanka at stumps in third day of second test in Colombo at two-match series. Assalamu alaikum. This is Shibli Noman. Welcome you all to News at 10. You have just heard the highlights. Now on to the details.
এখন এমন একটি সময় যখন আমাদের ব্যর্থহীন কণ্ঠে ঘোষণা করতে হবে যে আমাদের একটা আন্তর্জাতিক দায়িত্ব রয়েছে। এই দায়িত্ব হলো বিশ্বের প্রতিটি মানুষ যাতে তার ব্যক্তিত্ব এবং মর্যাদার উপযোগী অর্থনৈতিক, সামাজিক ও সাংস্কৃতিক অধিকার ভোগ করতে পারে তার ব্যবস্থা করা।
Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina left Rome for home, wrapping up her three-day official visit to Italy to attend the UN Food System Summit +2 stock-taking moment. A regular flight of Qatar Airways carrying the Premier and her entourage members departed from Rome Fiumicino Airport at 9:45 a.m. local time. The flight is scheduled to reach Hazrat Shah Jalal International Airport in Dhaka at 2:05 a.m. on Thursday after making over 1 hour stopover at Hamad International Airport in Doha, Qatar. The Prime Minister reached Italy on June 23 to join UNFSS +2 conference at the invitation of the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres. The Premier addressed the official opening of the conference as a special guest speaker. Sheikh Hasina also had a bilateral meeting with her Italian counterpart Giorgia Meloni. During the meeting, two memorandums of understanding MOUs cooperation in the field of energy and cultural exchange program were exchanged in presence of the two prime ministers. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has called upon all to stay united and protect Bangladesh from the collapses of the evil forces, saying BNP does not want to elections, rather looks forward to creating an abnormal situation in the country. She told the community reception accorded to her, organized by the expatriate Bangladeshis in Italy at her place of residence in Italy on Tuesday. Sheikh Hasina, also Awami League president, sought a vote for her party's electoral symbol boat again in the next general election, saying Awami League will have to come to power for building smart Bangladesh. She alleged that BNP doesn't want election, rather it wants to create an abnormal situation in the country. The election will definitely be held as per the constitution. BNP knows that the people will not vote for them, so BNP wants to destabilize the country. Why would the people go to vote for those who were driven out due to vote rigging, she added. Sheikh Hasina questioned how can they seek votes after killing people through arson violence.
এদেশ এগিয়ে যাবে, সেটাই আমাদের লক্ষ্য। বিএনপি ওদের নির্বাচন, তারা জানে নির্বাচনে জনগণ তাদের ভোট দেবে না, কারণ ভোট চুরি করে যারা বিতাড়িত তাদেরকে কেন ভোট দেবে? তাদের জন্ম কোথায়? জিয়াউর রহমান অবৈধভাবে ক্ষমতা দখল করে, সংবিধান লঙ্ঘন করে, ক্ষমতায় এসে আর্মি রুলস লঙ্ঘন করে, সেনাপ্রধান নিজেরা আবার নিজের রাষ্ট্রপতি ঘোষণা দিয়েই তার রাজনীতি শুরু। ওই অবস্থায় হ্যাঁ না ভোট, তারপরে হলে রাষ্ট্রপতি ভোট, তারপরে তার সব ভোটই তো ভুয়া, সব ভোটই তো এইভাবে চুরি করে করে ওই সেই জেনারেলের পকেট থেকে যে দলের সৃষ্টি, তারা নির্বাচন জনগণের কাছে যাওয়ার তাদের মুখটা কোথায়? আর অগ্নি সন্ত্রাস করে যাদেরকে হত্যা করেছে তাদের সামনে তারা কোন মুখে ভোট চাইবে? কাজে তারা নির্বাচন চায় না, তারা কিছু বিদেশি প্রভুর পদলেহন করে তাদের দিয়ে দেশের মানুষকে কষ্ট দিতে চায়।
Bangladesh has made 3 notches progress in implementation of SDG global ranking than the previous year. The United Nations Sustainable Development Solutions Network (SDSN) has revealed it in its assessment report 2023. In 2017, the SDSN for the first time made an independent assessment on 157 countries over the SDG implementation, where Bangladesh's ranking was 120 with 56.2 index score. Recently, the SDSN has revealed its latest assessment report on 166 countries, where Bangladesh's position stands at 101 with 65.9 index score. As per the United Nations Sustainable Development Solutions Network (SDSN) assessment, last year Bangladesh's ranking was 104 out of 163 countries with 64.2 index score. On the other hand, India's position was 112 and Pakistan ranked 128. The recent report of the SDSN has thanked Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina for her role and timely decisions for Bangladesh's continuous progress. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina received the SDG Progress Award in 2021. Netherlands ambassador to Bangladesh, Anne van Leeuwen, paid his farewell call on President Mohammad Shahabuddin at Bangabhavan this noon. Later, at a briefing, President's press secretary Mohammad Jainal Abidin said that during the meeting, the outgoing ambassador expressed gratitude to the President for extending cooperation in discharging duties in Bangladesh. President Mohammad Shahabuddin said bilateral trade and relations between Bangladesh and Netherlands is excellent. He stressed on exchanging visits and taking initiatives jointly to boost trade and investment between the two countries. The President thanked the outgoing envoy for successful completion of his tenure and hoped that the existing relationship between the two countries would reach to new heights in the future. Later, newly appointed Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral M. Nazmul Hassan called on President Mohammad Shahabuddin. He sought the President's cooperation and directives in discharging his duties. Congratulating the new Navy Chief, President Mohammad Shahabuddin said, "The role of the Navy is very important in protecting the sovereignty of the country's vast sea area and also extracting and preserving the marine sources of the region." The President expressed hope that the Bangladesh Navy would be turned into a more modern and technological powerful force under the leadership of the new Navy Chief. The President wished him a success. Earlier, newly appointed Bangladesh ambassador to Ethiopia, Sheikh Bodiruzzaman, called on President Mohammad Shahabuddin. During the meeting, the new envoy sought the President's cooperation in discharging his duties. President Mohammad Shahabuddin asked the new Bangladesh envoy to work for strengthening existing bilateral relation in the area of trade and investment in Ethiopia. President's Office Secretary Shampad Borua and Secretary attached Muhammad Wahidul Islam Khan were present. Speaker Dr. Shirin Sharmin Chaudhary said the Right to Food and Agri-Food System Conference would play an important role to keep balance in the food chain in the Asia-Pacific region. She said this today at the inaugural ceremony of two-day Asia-Pacific Right to Food and Agri-Food System Conference at Nawab Nawab Ali Chaudhary Senate Bhavan of Dhaka University. Right to Food Bangladesh arranged the conference, where Planning Minister M.A. Mannan was present in the inaugural function. Right to Food Bangladesh and Polli Kormo Shohayak Foundation PKSF Chairman Dr. Qazi Khaliquzzaman Ahmed presided over the conference, which was also addressed by Vice Chancellor of Dhaka University, Professor Dr. Muhammad Akhtaruzzaman, Joint Secretary of Nepal's Agriculture and Livestock Development Ministry, Sanjeev Kumar Karno, Care Bangladesh Country Director Ramesh Singh, and Right to Food Bangladesh Secretary General Mohsin Ali. The speaker said many suggestions would come from this two-day conference, which could be helpful for the future planning.
The sole purpose of having an important conference like this on right to food security in Asia-Pacific region is because we want to build towards a food secure Asia and Pacific region by 2050. If that is the goal that we are aiming at, to have a secure, food secure Asia and Pacific region, then we will have to focus on the critical challenges that are here before us and what is the future looking path for us ahead.
Newly elected Member of Parliament in by polls of Dhaka 17 constituency, Muhammad Ali Arafat, took the oath at the Jatiya Sanshad Bhavan today. Speaker Dr. Shirin Sharmin Chaudhary administered the oath to Muhammad Ali Arafat. Parliament Secretariat Senior Secretary KM Abdul Salam conducted the oath-taking ceremony. After taking the oath, the newly elected lawmaker Muhammad Ali Arafat signed the oath book. Chief Whip Noor Alam Chaudhary, Whip Iqbalur Rahim, Awami League Office Secretary Biplab Borua and senior officials were present, among others. Awami League General Secretary and Road Transport and Bridges Minister Ubaidul Qadir has called upon BNP to face people of the country through taking part in the election, leaving behind conspiracies and evil techniques. But if BNP stokes terrorism and violence in the name of movements, Awami League with the help of people will resist it, he added. The Awami League General Secretary said the BNP has to take a responsibility if peaceful environment and public security are jeopardized. He said this in a statement today responding to comments of BNP Secretary General Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir. Ubaidul Qadir also said the terrorist activities of BNP will intensify as the election is nearing. The only target of BNP is to grab the state power by frightening people and taking them hostage, he added. The Road Transport and Bridges Minister also said BNP is out to foil the next parliamentary election as it was rejected by the people time and again. Information and Broadcasting Minister Dr. Hassan Mahmood has visited Bangladesh Bhavan at Visva Bharati University in Shantiniketan in the Indian state of West Bengal. Registrar of Visva Bharati University Ashok Kumar Mahato welcomed Dr. Hassan Mahmood at Shantiniketan. Nooran Fatima, spouse of Information and Broadcasting Minister, was present there. Information and Broadcasting Minister Dr. Hassan Mahmood discussed with Visva Bharati University Authority about how Bangladesh Bhavan can be more attractive to people from both countries. Afterwards, Dr. Hassan Mahmood visited library of Visva Bharati University and exchanged views with teachers and students on curriculum, including tuition of the university. The Foreign Ministry called on ambassadors of 13 Western nations and missions and expressed Dhaka's resentment for violating diplomatic norms as they issued a joint statement over assaults of the independent candidate of Dhaka 17 by-poll election, Ashraful Alam. State Minister for Foreign Affairs Shahriar Alam talked with the concerned diplomats about the issue at State Guest House Podda in Dhaka today. Later, talking to the journalists and Foreign Service Academy, Shahriar Alam said, in the joint statement, the diplomats described the voting of Dhaka 17 by-election depending on the last moment's unexpected incident which did not portray the real picture of the whole day's peaceful election. He said they did not give proper attention to objectivity while issuing a quick reaction about the by-election. The State Minister said the Foreign Ministry advised the concerned ambassadors to be positive and follow the Vienna Convention about diplomatic norms. Now, international news. At least 40 people have died in Algeria and thousands evacuated in parts of Europe due to the intense heat wave that has spread through large areas of the Mediterranean and other regions. Severe fires have raged through the mountain forests and the Kabylia region on the Mediterranean coast, fanned by winds during blistering summer heat that peaked at 48 degrees Celsius. Northern and eastern Algeria battle forest fires every summer, but they have been exacerbated by this year's Mediterranean heat wave. Extreme weather throughout July has caused havoc across the world, with temperatures breaking records in China, the United States and Southern Europe, sparking forest fires, water shortages and a rise in heat-related illness and hospitalizations. On the Italian island of Sicily, 2 people were found dead on Tuesday in a home burned at a wildfire that temporarily shut down Palermo's international airport. In Greece, the fires burning on the island of Rhodes for the past week have forced authorities to carry out the largest evacuation over the undertaken in the country, with more than 20,000 people forced to leave homes and hotels. The US will send Black Hornet nano drones to Ukraine as a part of a $400 million security assistance package, according to the Pentagon. The Russian Defense Ministry has said one of its Black Sea Fleet ships destroyed 2 unnamed Ukrainian naval drones that attempted to attack it overnight. Meanwhile, Zelensky has made anti-corruption appeals in a video address after the arrests of a military recruitment official accused of mass embezzlement and a parliamentarian accused of collaborating with Russia. In another development, British lawmakers have urged more target sanction on the Wagner Group and advised the group should be labelled as a terrorist organisation by the UK. Russia's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova has said that Moscow intends to work with the leaders of Africa to weaken the US dollar. Zakharova said that the US is using the dollar not only as a tool to fight for advantage, but also as a means to realizing its aggression. Russian and African leaders are set to meet at a high-level summit in St. Petersburg later this week. African leaders are expected to discuss a peace proposal to end the war in Ukraine. Meanwhile, the Kremlin is keen to discuss the export of grains to Africa. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has expressed concern about Israeli settler violence against Palestinians in a meeting with his Palestinian counterpart Mahmoud Abbas. Violence has rocked the occupied West Bank in recent months as Israeli forces ramp up their raids. Ensuing clashes have resulted in Israeli settlers scaling attacks on Palestinian villages. Erdogan also addressed the issue of the al-aqsa mosque, where some hardline Israeli Jewish settlers are promoting its destruction and the construction of a 3rd Jewish temple in its place. The only way to a just and lasting peace in the region is to support a 2-state solution between Israel and Palestine, Erdogan added. Now, some news and international news in brief. Antony Blinken, the United States Secretary of State, has pledged to step up support for Pacific nations and reiterated a warning about the perils of predatory Chinese investment as he dedicated a new embassy in the island nation of Tonga. North Korea rolled out the red carpet for the Russian defense minister, state media said, with delegations from Moscow and Beijing set to attend Korean War anniversary events, the country's first known foreign visitor since its pandemic border closure. Thailand's former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra plans to return home on August 10 after 15 years in self-imposed exile, his daughter has said. The announcement on Wednesday came amid a prolonged political crisis in Thailand following a general election in May. At least 1 person has been killed in the Philippines after Typhoon Doksuri lashed northern parts of the archipelago, ripping off roofs, knocking out power, flooding low-lying villages and displacing thousands of people. Volunteers worked frantically for a second day to save dozens of pilot whales stranded on a beach in Western Australia, but more than 50 have already died. Nearly 100 long-finned pilot whales stranded themselves on a beach by the city of Albany on the southern tip of Western Australia, south of Perth, on Tuesday. The dengue situation in the country is getting worse day by day. A press release of the Directorate General of Health Services said 14 more dengue patients died in the last 24 hours. Of them, 10 were in Dhaka and 4 were outside Dhaka. 2,653 dengue patients were admitted to different hospitals across the country during the last 24 hours. Among them, 1,327 dengue patients were hospitalized in Dhaka city and 1,326 patients outside Dhaka. Meanwhile, no patient died of COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. The country reported 38 COVID-19 positive cases as 694 tested in the last 24 hours. Corona infected rate was reported at 5.48%. Posts and Telecommunications Minister Mustafa Jabbar has said father of the nation Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman paid maximum emphasis on technical education just after independence. He said this while addressing as chief guest at the first graduation ceremony of diploma engineers of Daffodil Polytechnic Institute in Dhaka today. Among others, lawmaker Mashrafi bin Murtaza, Bangladesh Technical Education Board Secretary Muhammad Abdullah Al Mahmood Zaman and principal of the institute K.M. Hassan Ripon also spoke on the occasion. Mustafa Jabbar said, daughter of Bangabandhu Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is working hard to build smart Bangladesh through the implementation of digital Bangladesh. Now some weather news. Met Office in its weather forecast till 6 p.m. tomorrow said light to moderate rain or thunder showers accompanied by temporary gusty wind is likely to occur at many places over Khulna, Borishal, Chattogram and Silla divisions, and at a few places over Rangpur, Mymensingh and Dhaka divisions, and at 1 or 2 places over Rajshahi division, with moderately heavy falls at places over the country. Day and night temperature may fall slightly over the country, said the Met Office. Now, news and sports. Pakistan took a 397-run lead over Sri Lanka in their first innings at the stumps of Day 3 of the second and final test of the two-match series in Colombo. Started batting with overnight score of 178 runs for 2, Pakistan scored 563 runs for 5 wickets at the end of day. Aga Khan is at the crease on 132 and Mohammad Rizwan on 37. Abdullah Shafi scored 201 runs. Sri Lanka were bowled out for 166 in their first innings. Pakistan is leading the series 1-0. To end the bulletin, headlines once again. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina on way to home from Italy after attending UN Food Systems Summit. Awami League's politics is to develop people's living standard, while BNP's politics to burn people to death, says Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina at community reception in Italy. Bangladesh jumps 3 notches progress in SDG implementation, Sustainable Development Solution Network reports. All should work together to ensure food safety, says Speaker Dr. Shirin Sharmin Chowdhury at Asia Pacific Right to Food and Agri-Food System Conference. BNP to take responsibility if peaceful environment and public security hampered, says Obaid al-Qadir. Information and Broadcasting Minister Dr. Hassan Mahmood visits Bangladesh Bhavan at Visva Bharati University in Shantiniketan of West Bengal in India. At least 40 people died in Algeria by severe heatwave. Thousands evacuated from different parts of Europe. And Pakistan take 397-run lead over Sri Lanka at stumps in third day of second test in Colombo at two-match series. That's all from the newsroom for the moment. Thank you for staying with us. We invite you to watch our 11:30 Bangla News. Until then, Khuda Hafiz.